I'll call the meeting to order. If y'all would stand, face the flag, we'll do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sonia, will you take the roll call, please?
Commissioner Digital.
Here.
Commissioner Wire.
Here.
Commissioner Corbin.
Here.
Commissioner Shaw.
Here.
Mayor Denner.
Here. We have the agenda in front of us. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved. Second?
Any further comments or discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Under appearances acknowledgement, item number 1, acknowledge application for temporary retail on-off sale malt beverage license and set data hearing of September 7th. From the Greater Madison Area Chamber of Commerce, Bacon Bash.
Is that Tuesday?
The date of their event is September 11th.
It's the 7th, Tuesday, because of the.
It is correct.
Yeah, the hearing date's the 7th.
And it's a Tuesday meeting. Guess it must be Labor Day. Would be great.
Yes.
Is there anybody here to speak of that?
Yeah.
Do you know what the Bacon Bash is?
I don't.
I believe it's a new event for them, but
It's a new
it's
chamber
an
event.
event to replace the crazy days that used to be the last week in July.
Oh,
So there are all sorts of activities planned that day. I think there's a band even. All sorts of-
And bacon.
And they-
okay. Do I have a motion to acknowledge the application for temporary retail on-off sale malt beverage license and set data hearing of September 7th, 5:30 p.m. from Greater Madison Area Chamber of Commerce, Bacon Bash.
So. Second.
Here, any member of the public has any questions or comments, or anybody else? Not hearing any, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Second.
All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Nothing under unfinished business. We'll move into new business. Item number 1, adopt resolution number 2021-21. Direct and set a date of public hearing on assessment rolls for sidewalk improvement 2020, September 7th, 5:30 p.m.
Motion. Second.
Any other comments? Not hearing any, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Item number 2, adopt resolution number 2021-22, tapping and meter charges. Mr. Lawrence, would you like to bring us up to speed on this one, please?
Yes, Ms. Mayor, members of the commission. The resolution is just an update to the pricing for the main tap fees and meter charges. We have not updated this since 2013, and the prices, of course, of what never used to be precious metals, copper, are starting to become precious metals, and the prices are going up on the brass saddles and corps and all that stuff. So we needed to update this so we were no longer losing money when we were installing these.
Thank you. I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2021-22, tapping and meter charges.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any members of the public have any questions or comments? Not hearing any. Is there any other further comments?
How much of an increase was it?
It depends on the size. Some of the ones that had the biggest increase, the biggest one was actually the smaller ones, they were 22%. And so it's something that the bigger ones didn't go up as much. I don't know why. It's just part of the way they price them. The smaller ones are more popular, and that might be why. They just, you think it'd be the other way around, but for whatever reason, there's no rhyme or reason to why they went up what they did, but it's on average probably about 12.5% on average, and the highest one was 22, almost 23%.
That's 2013.
So, yeah, 9 years or whatever, 8 years, it's not bad, 8.5 years since we did it, so.
How many times a year do we assess this fee typically?
That, I don't know the exact numbers. Obviously, for every new residential that gets built on a existing main, we would do it, but like most of the ones that are on a subdivision, those are all paid as part of, the development. The developer goes in, puts all those in, and so that's not, they buy it when they buy the lot, they don't have to come in and put it in later. So it's not that many of them, but it is some, and it does add up, and meters are probably the other part that comes with every new home, so that's something that we had to update too.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Questions? Not hearing any. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Thank you, Brett. Item number 3, 2022 nonprofit funding request.
So for this year, we put a form out on the website for nonprofits to request our support. They're basically the same entities that have requested it from us in the past. There are several, Commissioner Shaw had emailed me asking me what the changes were. The Madison Arts Council, their request went up $2,500. The senior meals went up $750. The First District Council of Governments, that one is $300 more. And then the Smith Zimmerman Museum, they did not request anything for 2021. In 2020, they had requested $6,500, and for 2022, they are requesting $11,500, and that additional being LED lighting for the museum. And if you have any questions, Chris from the Madison Arts Council is also on. If you have any questions for him? All in total, $422,882. Not a significant increase from prior.
We normally give the volunteer fire department separate money from,
We do, because the fire department aren't employees, so they use that for their training. Typically, their fire school in June is where the majority of it goes.
thank you.
Did everybody present the appropriate paperwork to you?
I had a question. So the LAIC there's at the top, and then the LAIC Forward Madison, that's just a separate campaign. So is that just over a couple of years or 1 year or?
It looks like we've done that for an extended period of time. Again, I've only been here since January, but it looks like it's been that way for quite some time, that there's been 10 years.
Okay.
I think they do a new campaign every 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years. Yeah, this is Ford Madison 4.
They were just started this year.
Yeah. Do we need a motion to accept these, or?
My suggestion, if I may, is that if you want some time to think about these or consider these, make a motion to acknowledge them only. Certainly, if you're prepared to spend that money tonight, you can make a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to acknowledge them at this point until we get through the rest of the budget.
A second.
Any further comments or discussion?
Question for David, would you foresee a motion to approve being separate from the budget, or would we just incorporate this part of the budget, have discussion as a regular process?
6 of one, half dozen the other. Either is legally acceptable.
Okay, all right.
Like we can acknowledge it, correct, and then when it comes budget time, when we approve the whole budget, that would be part of it.
That would be just fine. Yes.
Any other questions? Hearing any? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Item number 4. Discuss advertising for code enforcement officer. This is, I guess this has been in the works for some time. We had put it in the budget, I think 2 years ago. So it's in the resolution. We were waiting to see about getting a engineer hired first, so they would have some input in it. We're still waiting for that in engineering, so we would like to get this going sooner than later.
I could really go either way, but I don't know where we're at hiring an engineer. I mean, I assume this person will work under the engineer, so in a perfect world, you hire that position and then they can hire their staff, but there's a lot of need in town, and we've been talking about this code enforcement officer for an awful long time, so I think it's appropriate to move forward on it. Let's see what we get.
I'm also in support of it. I think it's time at this point with everything that's going on, as we continue to grow and we need to. Can you speak up a little? Sorry. But I do support it as well.
I'm sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
Has anybody looked at, similar sized towns to see, or what kind of cutoffs they're doing for 40-hour-a-week code enforcement guys, or?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer for that. I don't know if anybody who was here when that position was created, resolution, knew of any discussion at that time.
I don't have a good handle on that. I know that if you're the size of Brookings, you have full-time. We would be, I do know we would be one of the smaller municipalities with a full-time code enforcement officer, but we're also the smallest class 1 municipality, I believe. I mean, we are a class 1. So it's probably a little close. There are services out there that you can contract to do this for, really any hours, 10 hours, 40 hours, et cetera. And that would be something available under the commission as well at some point. I think tonight, as I see it, it would be nice to at least have that position in the creation. Whether that becomes a contractor or full-time or part-time, I suppose those are all things to discuss and all things to look at. I can tell you from my seat, Madison is ready for at least some code enforcement. My office does not have the ability to effectively handle smaller and persistent code matters. The city has also been without, since during my tenure, and I believe before, without a clear process for handling code enforcement issues. Sometimes it's the police department, sometimes it's the city attorney, sometimes it's been other departments. I mean, I know even engineering at one time was getting involved in some. So this would give us a clearer, more efficient, more effective way to handle them. I'm less hung up on is it 10 or 20 or 40 hours full-time contractor, but from my seat as a city attorney, I think code enforcement position would be terrific.
I do want to make note that this would be a shared position with building official as well, something that Ryan has been doing for the last 15 years. I don't know what the proportion would be. I'm guessing maybe split pretty even between those two duties, so that it wouldn't be full-time code enforcement. You'd have about half-time, and then Ryan would have more free time to do design work and free him up for other activities. But I could certainly look into options if you wanted to look at employee versus a contractor. I could bring up back options or more ideas if commission would like.
And if I may, the typically with the building official comes the responsibility to administer the floodplains, like the floodplain administrator. So you add that into it, it becomes, that much more of a job. And so that's something that you get certified in. Ryan is certified, I've been certified before. And it's a process you go through. You got to have a little bit of experience, and you go in and take the test for FEMA, and then you become a certified floodplain administrator. And that's a big part of the building code. application when you have as many floodplains as we do here in Madison. So I think that'd be another thing that, like say, would get siphoned off of Ryan and give him more time to do the things that he needs to do in his position, and basically as an assistant city engineer and doing all the things that he does. So I think there's enough work there, I think, if you really get into it, to keep somebody pretty darn busy with building codes, floodplain administration, and all the other nuisance types, code enforcement. And part of it's gonna be the creation of the ordinances to actually propel us forward, because we need a lot of work in that area.
And I agree, it's a separate discussion, but Jameson and I have met on this issue, and I've spoken to others as well. It's my opinion, if the city of Madison wants to be proactive, we need to update our nuisance ordinances. There's no question. And I think it's on our maybe mutual agenda to begin working on the fall, winter. And for sure have something in place by spring when those things become more apparent.
We did send our code, like in ordinances out to be updated.
Yes.
That's been handled.
Yes, and we can work with that vendor also, more specifically on the nuisance section. So just know what's on, I think, both of our radars as that moves forward.
Sonia, do you know what we have this at for, wage?
I'm not sure.
Do we even have a job
I don't think
description?
so, I'm not
drafted?
sure.
How are we gonna start?
We do.
We have one.
I think Kristen would like to revisit it because it's been a while just to make sure it's in the shape it needs to be, but we have everything needed to move forward whenever we'd like.
Does Ryan have any recommendation on which way he'd like to see this position? I mean, are we gonna have this person report to Ryan in the interim, or?
I wouldn't want to put any words in Ryan's mouth. I mean, he can speak for himself, which is not here tonight, but I would say to your second point there, that this person would be reporting to the city engineer, and in the interim, Ryan's been the de facto department head for that department.
I've talked to him, on numerous occasions. He's ready for one. So,
And I would be ready for one clear contact on code enforcement as well.
I'll make the motion to advertise and hire a code enforcement officer.
Second,
any further comments, discussion? Not hearing any, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Public comments.
I have one on the Zoom.
You do? Okay,
Andrew, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm just here to observe.
Oh, not speak?
Yep.
oh, nothing.
Good, nothing.
Okay. Sonia, did you have an announcement?
Yes, the finance office and utility billing are going to stick with the 7:30 to 4 o'clock hours. That works super great to coincide with what MMU does as far as people being disconnected and not getting those after hours calls and having to send out our guys and complaints and such. So
We did have one announcement after talking with Ryan today. And hopefully the code enforcement person would help on this. I just want to make an announcement so everybody's clear on, if you're doing a project in the city of Madison, you do need a permit for some items. If you're not clear on what items you need a permit on, please call our office or the engineering office and they will help you. I know we had some projects done here lately that went without a building permit, so. Any other announcements?
seal coating starting tomorrow. There's information out there. I just felt compelled to make an announcement because everybody else does.
I'll make a quick note on the upgrades or the improvements at the MAC. The boiler has come in early, quite a bit early, which is great news. And then some of the electrical repair supplies are still not here yet, so the contractor has completed everything they can to date. And then they are waiting to get the last supplies in before they can continue. On the boiler, we are getting that, the specifications determined and finding a contractor to do the install, but we have the materials here for that, so that's good news. And then the mayor's done a great job of getting together a list of items that are needed to be purchased and installed to start up the pool for next spring, so we can get a head start on that. And those purchases, at least some of them have been made, so we're moving forward on that too.
Anything else? Hearing any? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move. Second.
All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Yes.